think we're about ready to be getting into the game.
Here we
yes,
go.
we are. Here we go.
Volskaya Foundry, yet again. This time we're in round number 2. And first to pick, first to action will be your number 2 team from this evening, Reborne, in the blue.
Yeah, let's see. I think we're going to see the standard fare, sort of what we saw last game. Blaze and Mal'Ganis are particularly powerful. Maiev and Genji, that might be a variable ban, whether teams are going to let those through. Medivh, not surprising. Probably a target ban coming out there, and Blaze on the other side.
So in our first round, we saw TIAA ban out the Blaze and the Maiev with their first 2. So far, we've seen the Blaze. We'll see if they want to also ban out that Maiev up next. But the Medivh ban, a bit of a curveball. Obviously, are not wanting to play up against it. There's a Tyrande ban as well. But question is, do we see that Maiev ban right here, right now?
I'm curious. I think it's solid, but then of course we have Mal'Ganis open. I was gonna comment myself. I really think Tyrande needs to be taken away. She enables too much, and we just saw the value Lunar Flare got last game. But now you're sitting between a rock and a hard place. There are so many good heroes to ban here. I feel like you're right. I think Maiev is the play here, but Mal'Ganis is also not incorrect. So Maiev is banned out. Mal'Ganis will be left open for the first 5 picks here, and we're going to see if either of these teams are willing to pick them up.
Well, we were asking for it last draft. I think this is our opportunity. It's a golden goose of an opportunity here. Will we see Mal'Ganis make an appearance? Also still available and should be highly prioritized is that white main who made a display in game number 1. There's the Garrosh first pick. And, this is looking exactly like what happened in our first round matchup with the first pick Garrosh.
It is, and I think this plays just into what I was saying about the Crash Lightning, is you fight on this point. It's a big open point where there's no interfering creeps or anything. Garrosh can really, truly get value in the same way that Garrosh is bad on Infernal Shrines, quote, bad on Infernal Shrines, or struggles on Infernal Shrines. He's good here. There's no creeps to interfere with his throw. You can really look for the picks. And Johanna Thrall. So Thrall being prioritized highly as an offlaner, and Johanna sort of just a natural counter to Garrosh.
They're keeping their pick order. I mean, this is the exact same order we saw last game, except Tyrande is banned out this time, so wasn't an option for them. They opt not to go for that white main. They're going to save their support pick for after the next bans. There's a Deckard pick, so now the pool's getting pretty thin, and this means Reborne has an opportunity to ban out the white main.
Yeah, Reborne has the opportunity to ban out the white main, and there are still lots of powerful healers. I think Alexstrasza can get a lot of value here. Her Dragon Queen plays towards the zone control. It also plays towards the early cooldowns, like having a heroic for the very first point. So we're going to see what TIAA decides to get rid of. It's going to be a Jaina, and that's not surprising. Big AoE combo, very good with the Deckard. Just stack the Triangle and Blizzard on top of one another, and it could be disastrous.
So this is the final ban here of our draft. Waiting to see if they want to get rid of the white main. Opportunity to get rid of something else, but definitely the smartest choice for them, and indeed they will lock it in. White main banned out. And now TIAA, they got to dig deep into the support pool. Do they want to pull out the Alexstrasza? Do they want to go something a bit different that we might not be expecting? I don't know.
Maybe something like a Monk. I would think at the Alexstrasza. Ooh, Ana Malthael, one of my absolute favorite combos in the whole game. I play this combination with my buddy all the time. Nano Boost to Malthael, it's really powerful. Nano Boost is also going to work for Thrall, but look how melee heavy now this TIAA team is. I wonder if that is going to be a good pivot, and you also set yourself up because Mal'Ganis is available as possibly an offlaner here for Reborne. But if they're going to take that option, or anybody really tanky, you do have Malthael already there, and they go for Yrel instead. But you already have Malthael set up against Yrel, so I sort of like this heads-up pick by TIAA saying, we recognize you're probably going to pick Yrel or somebody tanky, and then the Alrac on top of everything.
I think the Alarak is the perfect little wrinkle they threw into this draft because now they have a way to shut down the mouthfeel. When he wants to come in and start making mayhem, especially on top of this garage, he's going to try to prevent himself from dying to a last rites. The Alarak's going to be able to step in and really shut mouthfeel down, but left wide open. I didn't see this coming. It's Sergeant Hammer for Treebeard. Saw him game one on the Chromie. This time he's going to play also pretty far away from the action on a hammer. And how do you get in here? I mean, they're going to be able to throw some Hanzo damage on top, but unless Alarak can get that big pull in, Hammer might be free to play.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult, and Treebeard is a very scary hammer. I've seen it many times before here in both HeroesHype Amateur Series and also the Open Division. So a map where Hammer excels. It's really going to come down to, can Winterheart catch out Corgi or Fancy Pants? Get a pick. I imagine Ana and Hammer are going to be safely positioned as they can this whole game, but looking at these drafts again, hard to say. I feel like last game, hard to say which draft would prevail. I lean a little bit towards TIAA here, but there's really no weakness in Reborne's draft other than the execution-based, requirement of Alarak.
All right, so here we go. We're into the map. It's Volskaya Foundry, and on the left-hand side, we got Reborn. Winterheart can be playing the Alarak Tenny. He's on the Garage. Valimar playing Deckard Kane. We have a Hanzo here played by Troy 1010, and Showtime rounding it out on the Euro.
And on the right side, once again, we have TIAA back on Volskaya. We have Fancy Pants playing the Thrall, Legacy on a Corgi Booty on Malthael, Treebeard playing Sergeant Hammer, and Shot on Johanna.
So I think they did enough to change this draft around. Of course, they started with the Johanna and the Thrall, which looked very similar to what we saw in their first set of the evening, but some of the same pieces, a little bit different, but I think still the same idea overall, where they want to be able to get in with the Johanna, set up the wave clear, especially for this Sergeant Hammer that can just really whack them down. But how will Thrall be able to come in this game playing in the 4-man rather than the solo lane, because you got to have Malthael down there? How will they make that adjustment for this comp work for them?
Yeah, Thrall can be very powerful in the 4-man. He can deal lots of poke damage with his Chain Lightning, and also his Feral Spirit can set up big team fight combinations or big picks. But look at Treebeard. Look at this nonsense. Just sieged up right in this spot where you can just hit anyone rotating between top and mid lane. That is straight obnoxious, but I love it. Winterheart also sharking around here, possibly looking for Treebeard. But to your point that you mentioned earlier, just a minute ago, is that Hammer sieging up really enables TIAA to clear the wave safely and ahead of Reborn. And just like the last game we talked about, you create the wave clear advantage, you create the camp advantage. They've just cleared their turret a bit faster, and they're already rotating back up onto this to the support camp. The difference here is Reborn also is only a little bit behind. They're not as far behind as Team Muted was, and now Tenny is moving on to the point. There is going to be a contention here. The Iron Skin has already been popped for Shot, but Tenny taking too much damage. The percentage damage from Malthael just barely going to finish off Garrosh. They back up. They lose the Biotic Emitter there, but it's basically going to be the same result as if they gave the Biotic Emitter away. They're a little bit behind rotationally, like we talked about, and TIAA just sort of doing the same thing they did last game, and it's impressive.
Yeah, Treebeard, he's not even scared in that. He's literally just sieged up, doesn't move an inch, doesn't move a muscle, and says, I'm going to keep right-clicking as long as I possibly can. Garrosh, you can walk in here if you want, but I know Johanna's going to hold firm for me. That's exactly what they do. They get the Biotic Emitter. They have the same advantage they had in their first set. And we're seeing it again here. They have the emitter, they have their turret, and they have a slight level lead heading into control point A.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to look at. Treebeard so far forward. Wow, that is just confident, I guess I would call that positioning by Treebeard. But calculated, using the boosters to get away just in time, clearing the wave here. not much fun going on bottom lane, gotta say. Or in the top, really. It's fairly business as usual. And Treebeard just really asserting their dominance by sieging up on the right side. We do have Chop moving in, popping the Condemn. Tenny just standing right on the edge of this hammer radius. Now Tenny moving in, looking for something, taking quite a bit of damage. I think we're going to have a lot of posturing like this, and neither team actually controls the point right now, so this is totally fine for Reborne. Really, the question is which team can create an advantage in the other lanes while this point is under contention. Shot.
And really, it's going to come down to right now, TIAA, they're waiting for their level 7 talents. They're a bit closer, and once they get it, they're going to look to take a fight. But for now, they're content with Treebeard just sitting here. Now they're getting the channel in their progress. So with level 7, with control of the capture point, they're looking good right now, sitting at 25%. And with this talent here, now they're really not afraid. You see Treebeard, he's starting to move forward, got Hover Siege now at level 7, so he's able to harass this front line and kite himself back as they try to make their way in. There's perfect execution thus far on this Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, it just so well played. Same thing with the Chromie. It looks like, oh, shots getting thrown, popping his Iron Skin, and moving in aggressively. Sort of just how he's playing on his Chromie. It's like if I was positioned like that on Chromie, I'd just be punished all day long. But the truth of it is he's not being cocky. He's just knows where the enemy team is, knows what they can do, what their ranges are. I do like that Reborn took their top siege camp and they're taking their turret as well, knowing that they can't control the area as well, so just taking the small map advantages, and now that has turned into them controlling the area here. So there is going to be a fight. Both teams are just about level 8. That's the unstoppable pop for Hammer, but that's a relatively short cooldown. Tenny very aggressively positioned.
Look at this play, though. This is so smart. They get their second biotic emitter. They still hold 2 turrets, and now they're ready to rip. Ooh. They're going to get in here at Winterheart, taking a bunch of damage before this fight is even starting. But finally, we're going to see some action as moving in is TIAA. Big silence from Alarak. Shot falling low, very low. Emerald was huge from Deckard Cain, shutting down the supporting there. Those 2 biotic emitters did absolutely nothing for Johanna as the first kill for Reborn came out. Now a big toss, and Malthiel's down. A double kill for Reborn. Still trying to get the damage out of his Treebeard, but I think this is all they got left in the tank right now, Feer.
I feel like that was a team fight that Reborn was losing, but got 2 kills. I cannot explain. They sort of just ran into a stat wall that they shouldn't have been able to defeat, but the on-point throws with the combination silences and stuns are just making it come together. They do have to be careful as all 5 members are extremely low. Winterheart being the highest HP, but they do take that first protector. Just extraordinarily well coordinated, and I think that's what I mentioned in the draft here, is if Reborn has one advantage in this game, they're so well coordinated. The throw into the Alarak, into the Emerald, and really Johanna just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, the Emerald's so strong, especially when you got those 2 biotic emitters. I mean, you're walking in there fearless. You got the 2 turrets, you got the 2 heals, and you're like, all right, we just need to walk in here, hit our buttons, and win the fight. But F button not strong enough in that case when Emerald's coming down that strong.
They were definitely pressing the F button after that fight, I gotta say. But now Treebeard still, this composition has its strengths. They did make a mistake there, but now they're rounding out level 10 themselves. It's not the same as last game. They have only taken the front wall and well in top, as is common for the first protector. So creating about a half a level advantage for themselves, but no fort advantage, no wild 2-level advantage heading into the second objective, but Shot getting caught out by Tenny once again. No Iron Skin available, I guess, and he just gets thrown in. Won't be too devastating, but it will actually allow Reborn to move aggressively onto this camp. So it's a death by 1,000 cuts here on both Sky Foundry.
Here they come in. Dragon's Arrow backside only hitting on the Sergeant Hammer, but a great Warlord's challenge from Tenny, locking in this Thrall and the Malthiel, but they're able to back up, and now Treebeard, with so much damage, pushes Reborn all the way out of there, but they escape with the turret. So fantastic invade from Reborn. They make it out with all of their lives. They do trade out a few of their heroic abilities, so now Corgi, he's playing up front, still has last rights online.
I just feel like Reborn's playing like Rocky right now. They're just taking all the hits on the chin, but coming out on
look where
top.
Shot is.
Shot is
thrown
coming
into the fort. The wall's still there.
So aggressive. Iron Skin already popped that. It's going to be a big old rip. Maybe he's going for the 4-man talent quest completion. No. Miscommunication there. How did he get there?
He got thrown over the wall by Garrosh. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say. How did he even get there? He got thrown over the wall by Garrosh. So no miscommunication. Just continuing. Tenny doing the thing that's... Oh, hold on. We might have an engagement here. Tenny doing the thing that I love more than anything, playing against someone else in your role. Oh, Corgi Booty moving in. Garrosh taking a bit of damage. He does take the support camp. They get it, and they get the biotic emitter and back out. Showtime's a bit far forward, but should be okay.
He's going to hold on to his Ardent Defender, which is so smart, so wise. He's able to back up safely. Of course, has that Divine Steed as well to help him get that extra little bit of boost out of there. But we're looking at level 13 very soon for Reborn. Still a lot longer for TIAA to get up to that point, but they might be able to get it here before Control Point B is active. So they're going to look to rotate around this map, keeping Corgi Booty split out in the solo as they're waiting to get their Ana back from base. They got a little bit of catching up to do, but it should be doable right now.
Yeah, I'm really looking for the combination Warlord challenge into Alarak silences now. I think that is going to be Reborn's sort of key to victory here, is just making sure that they communicate and follow up. And if they can chain lock down basically any member of TIAA, they should be able to get the picks before the objectives and create more of an advantage for themselves.
So we did get a Redemption Hanzo at level 1, just picked up at level 13 Ancient Blessings from Deckard Cain. Keep an eye out for that auto attack damage coming from Hanzo. It will do a lot of damage to this front line. Malthael Thrall when they step in along with Johanna. So big eyes on Troy 1010 right now as they're looking to make their defense as they have control over B right now for Reborn.
So I feel like what Tenny is really doing, keeping track of shots, Iron Skin, he just popped it there. So they used the telekinesis and an Alarak to scare Shot. Now Tenny knows he's got basically 30 free seconds of being able to control that front line and know that he's got the advantage over Johanna. I think it looks like he's looking for Corgi here or somebody, but they have full sight of him, so it's just gonna be a slow back and forth as it has been this whole game. Shot and Tenny facing off. I believe Ironskin should be up by now. Oh, we have Showtime jumping in. The Unstoppable popped on Treebeard, but he is going to be able to dodge a Roger Cube and all the scroll follow-up. These crazy back and forths are just too much for me, man.
Yeah, Shot just getting thrown right out. There's Iron Skin. Now he doesn't have it. Getting whacked back in. Warlord's challenge. Shot low. Dragon's Arrow connects. And that's a kill. Showtime. He's low. Bounce Ardent Defender as well as that Biotic Emitter. It's on the ground right now. Resetting the fight with that Stay a While and Listen was Deckard Cain. And now Corgi, he's on the backside looking for anything he can find, but he's going to find himself caught here by Yrel almost. No, he gets away, but there's Yrel jumping back in. Showtime collecting another kill for Reborn.
Good recognition by Valimar. He's popping his Stay a While and Listen and realized, well, I am just not in a good position. Cancels his ult. Costs himself the cooldown, but gets out of there, survives. And that's a 2-for-0 trade as Reborn continues to assert their dominance on this map. This is much closer than the last game. Although Reborn is taking this second protector here, I do feel like they're not going to be able to march it down and win like last game. And we're going to have some continued macro play and fighting continuing on in this game. It's going to be good.
I believe our last game ended 11 minutes and 29 seconds,
yeah.
So we are past that mark already. Congratulations. But here we go. That's the first fort of the game down up top in favor of Reborn. They're going to make the rotation down, see if they want to stop at mid or make their way down to bottom, but they do have this level 16 advantage. Root coming out, barely missing on Fancy Pants. He dodges the laser as well. But that could have potentially been another kill. He's holding on to that turret right now. They're going to hold on to it for as long as he can. Going to play this defense with their Sergeant Hammer. And coming up now is Malthael, but not in time to save this fort as the lead continues to extend for Reborn. They make their march towards his bottom lane.
Yeah, they got about a full level advantage and the 16 talent tier advantage right now. But it's ultimately not going to cost too much as long as TIAA can escape from this situation without losing their tails and just barely dodging that scroll from Deckard. All three members of TIAA, they're looking to get Winterheart's stun coming out. He's taking too much damage, does not pop the counter-strike in time. I don't know if you saw the animation actually began. Corky Booty moving far forward, but to stay a while and listen, look at that, perfect. And then just the BM scatter arrow from Troy coming out. But the animation actually began on the counter-strike from Winterheart there, and it just wasn't quite enough. So now TIAA turning the momentum back in their favor. Iron Skin has been popped. Hanzo actually caught by the Feral Spirit there, needs to be careful. Alarak will be back momentarily, but they're going to be rotating right up onto the support camp, and this is sort of how Volskaya goes. The momentum can shift in just a second. Both teams on 16 tier advantage and only about a half a level difference, so couldn't get much closer here.
This is extremely close, and every time I start thinking that Reborne is going to start moving away with a big lead, it seems like TIAA continues to show their smarts here on Volskaya Foundry as they're finding Garrosh by himself. He's going to rotate down to his team, but Corgi Booty in there was shot. Big blessed shield came out, locked him in, but Dragon's Arrow on the other side going to flip it around. Corgi Booty falling low, still has that last rights. Is he going to be able to get it off on anything? He's still holding on to it. You're up falling low. There's your defender. He just can't use it.
The Nano saved him for a long time, but it wasn't quite enough. They still managed to lock him down enough. Yeah, he couldn't get last rights off. I think he was just looking for the skull to guarantee he got the kill, but so difficult into a Deckard.
I think he was waiting to try to get it on the Arel, but he knew that she had that Ardent Defender. He couldn't just pop it willy-nilly, so he saved it as long as he could. Showtime held on to that Ardent Defender as long as he could, so it's really smart plays on both sides that ended up being in favor of Reborn yet again, and this could be another one as Treebeard gets caught in the grasp of Garrosh. Big pickup there, stagger in the deaths, and I mean, this is definitely going to be the fort and potentially get to work on this keep wall right now, Feer.
Yep, gonna take the turret away. Oh yeah, the fort has absolutely no HP. And a full 25 seconds, and Hammer is your main defender. This entire team is melee other than Hammer, so they're gonna have trouble defending against the poke from the Hanzo. I don't know how much Reborn's actually gonna force onto this wall here. Checking the pass through there. Just gonna dish out a little bit of damage, but I don't know how advantageous it is for them to hold this position. Hammer's coming up, and Johanna and Thrall are coming on a bit of a flank. It is risky. They do get a little bit of minimal value. Shot is the king of aggro here, coming in with a bead like you wouldn't even believe. Decides against it, backing up a little bit. Tenny and Shot just fight. Wow, the self-cleanse by Malfield. Well done, Corgi.
Yeah. Inevitable end feels good. He says, hey Garrosh, you got Indomitable. How about I pop this? And a little bit of touche there. A little touche from Garrosh came out.
20-second cooldown. That is, it's actually insane because it removes all the marks from your targets, but it's a 20-second cooldown. So using something like that, it's like a put your shades on. You basically didn't even use a cooldown and just walk away from that situation, which would basically be a guaranteed death. But a huge toss coming out from Tenny. Actually, he was looking for Fancy Pants. He does get shot, but he gets the Iron Skin out. Dragon Arrow connecting, but Garrosh and Thrall taking just too much damage. That was actually Deckard Kane falling, and the last rights coming out, getting just enough damage onto Garrosh. The Ardent Defender popped by Urel, but it is not enough. So again, now TIAA taking a 3-for-0 advantage, and they're going to take this bottom protector, it looks like, but they have no forts down, so whether...
And up top, they still have a siege camp pushing. They have opportunity right now with Sergeant Hammer to get this bottom fort down, which means if they do get this protector, which it looks like they will, because there it is, 100%, they're going to be pushing onto a keep wall right now, Fear, and this could be first keep of the game in favor of TIAA, a team that hasn't been ahead the entire time, are now making their push to really start taking the lead in the match and get catapults out.
Yeah, Hanzo's top. Another 22 seconds before Urel is available. There's no way this keep survives. you're 100% right, and I think they're going to be looking at the core. Winterheart and Troy need to be careful. If they are picked, this will almost certainly be 100% be a victory. Fancy Pants looking for the Feral Spirit on Winterheart. Winterheart being aggressive, has a biotic emitter in his inventory. Tenny looking for a throw. Ooh, nice telekinesis on the throw, taking a lot of damage, but the shield from the Protector is going to have a lot of defensive value. The Nano Boost coming out on the throw.
Watch if Malthael wants to hop out and try to get some damage out. He does have last rites available. See if Corgi recognizes it and tries to finish off another one of these kills. Jarrell very low. No Ardent Defender for 35 seconds showtime. He's going to get back to safety, but Troy's down. And this is looking more and more like TIAA is going to pull off the upset here in round number 2 up against Reborne. GG.
Wow, unbelievable. Just unbelievable game overall. So actually truly back and forth with not just one way, then the other, just back and forth the entire game. And TIAA just wrestling it away. I love it when you watch it. I'm watching the stream right now. I'm watching that last team fight, and it was so close. Deckard Cain takes so much damage in the initial burst, then the last rites just gets almost enough damage to kill Tenny. Hammer gets that auto attack, and I gotta give credit. In the last 2 games, Treebeard has just been absolutely killing it. And just looking, I'm just casually positioned very far forward as Chromie and Sergeant Hammer. I mean, big ups to Treebeard playing extraordinarily well, and they're going to be moving forward in the bracket.